Ripped apart by social workers. They are taking kids from their homes, but they do not have a court order.
WBTV first told you about the practice in March when we uncovered efforts state regulators had taken to quietly stop the practice in Cleveland County. The Cleveland County DSS director wouldn't answer our questions, and neither would the state agency responsible for policing those placements.
Tonight, WBTV's chief investigative reporter Nick Oxner is sitting down with two families to hear their stories of being separated from their children by social workers who never went to court. Nick?
Yeah, Maureen, Jamie, the forms uncovered in Cleveland County that the state told them to stop using are called temporary guardianship forms. It's one sheet of paper where a parent signs over custody of their child to someone else. But there are other forms DSS agencies use to remove children too, known as temporary safety placements and kinship care. Neither are complicated under the law or contemplated under the law, but we found both being used in Cleveland County and around the state to remove children from their homes for months or even years.
It was a circus, Mama.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was terrible.
Jennifer Jones and Lee Locklear are describing a meeting with the Robeson County Department of Social Services where they found out they'd no longer be able to see their granddaughters.
Made sure that we were gone, and then they gave the two men the children.
And that's where they are today.
And that's where they still are today.
The meeting they're talking about happened here at the Robeson County DSS building last July. It capped a years-long saga that started with the girls being taken from their mother and put in the custody of Jones and Locklear. Then with another family member, all using these forms. The social worker never went to court to get a judge's order, which is required by law.
We asked them repeatedly, when are we going to court? When are we going to court? And it went on for months and months, didn't it?
Up until this January, it had been over a year. The case had never been in front of a judge.
In January, the girl's mother got this letter saying their case had been closed due to the children being in placement with their fathers. Again, no mention of court, no citing a judge's order, just a decision of social workers that their mother would lose custody.
The case is closed. What's going through your mind?
Yeah. We couldn't believe it.
With this process, a caseworker becomes judge, jury, and often family executioner. And no one person should have all that unchecked power over children's lives. It inevitably leads to tragic mistakes.
Richard Wexler runs a nonprofit that advocates for changes to the foster care system. We spoke with him in March.
Many child welfare agencies have a take the child and run mentality. And the only minimal check and balance on that is a court hearing. This process bypasses that.
In 2015, my son was took for 7 months.
Nicole Dixon's oldest son was taken from her in 2015 by Cleveland County Department of Social Services through something called a safety placement.
Never seen a judge or anything. They told me that if I didn't sign that paper at first, that my child would just go into foster care.
This letter from a DSS worker at the time says the placement is supposed to be temporary and calls it, quote, an arrangement. But it would be 7 months before Dixon's case ever went before a judge, and 3 years before she regained custody.
It was very long, very cost money-wise. We spent $20,000, $30,000 trying to get him back.
Both Dixon and Jones called WBTV after seeing our stories in March about the use of temporary guardianship forms and concerns about the use of safety placement documents.
Incredibly inaccurate.
At the time, the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services defended the use of safety placements, but Secretary Cody Kinsley wouldn't talk with us on TV.
So when you saw our story on TV, what was your first reaction?
I was shocked. We thought we were supposed to believe what DSS said.
Do you believe what DSS said anymore?
No, definitely not.
Now, I've been listening to all the stories in the news that have been going on about DSS. So it's not like that Raleigh is not aware of what is going on.
Both women say they called WBTV in hopes they can put a face to the stories state leaders have said aren't happening.
It just blows my mind that one institution could have so much power to break up families.
Now, in an email today, the director of the Robeson County Department of Social Services told me they always follow applicable state law, but didn't respond when I sent a follow-up asking her to explain the letter sent to the daughter of Locklear, who you just heard from there. Also, the director of the Cleveland County Department of Social Services just didn't respond to my repeated inquiries for this, and the State Department of Health and Human Services said that it's not illegal and you don't need a judge's order to place children with their parents. But I asked, could social workers make a decision to place a child with one parent over the other? And again, didn't get a response. I'll join Jamie at 7:30 on Your Side Tonight to break more of this down. Back to you.
Look forward to that.